What's up, guys? And by guys, I do mean what's up to the 3 tumbleweeds rolling by me while I record this, because this is my 0 subscriber special. Anyway, tumbleweeds, here are some tips to help you fill up your sketchbook. The first thing I would do would be to illustrate the cover and the back of your sketchbook, because then when you see it, you're like, wow, that looks cool. I'm actually an awesome artist. I am excited to draw in this sketchbook. If you feel like that's too much pressure for you, you can put a bunch of cool stickers on your sketchbook, and then that also gets you excited to draw. I don't like to date my drawings very much. It annoys me a lot, but I'll always put the year on the spine of the sketchbook or inside the front cover or something. And then I like to put the months on the edge of the pages so that I know, I have a rough date of any given drawing that I find in there. And also, I think it's interesting to see how much you drew within a certain month. Wow, with Inktober, I drew way more than I normally draw. That's crazy. I should keep doing Inktober. Or you could be like, wow, school started. I didn't draw at all. I was so tired. It's kind of interesting to look at. I would also say an important thing to do is to fill your sketchbook out chronologically, just because maybe it's not as important for people who fill their sketchbooks out in a month. I think that's super impressive, and I could never. Partially because I draw a lot digitally, but also because I'm tired and I have a lot of other things to do. If you take a while to fill out a sketchbook, do it in order, one page after another. Try not to skip around too much so that you can see how your art got better from the beginning of the sketchbook to the end, because that's super fun to look back and see, and you're like, wow, I am so good now. You should be using as many mediums as you can, whatever your sketchbook can take, honestly. Some sketchbooks, if they're terrible quality, it's hard to paint in them, but if you're feeling bored or unmotivated and just want to add some color, some markers will do the trick. I would experiment with adding mediums that aren't pencil or pen as accents, maybe just do the eyes, maybe just do the hairs, maybe do a fun outline. A fun one I like to do is I like to block things in with color. I use Poscas, my paint markers, but you could use actual paint or just markers or even highlighters. I block things in with color and then I ink on top of it, and it can look kind of bad, but it's a lot more fun than just drawing something straight. I think it's sort of freeing because you don't do a sketch underneath, you just kind of go straight into it. Draw from life. Drawing from life is a pretty basic tip, but I think it's pretty important. And if you don't know what to draw, just look around you. I always feel super sneaky when I draw the people around me because they have no idea what I'm doing. And they never will. They'll live inside my sketchbook immortal forever. They don't even know. Also, draw your pets. I really like to draw my pets because they look very silly, and especially older pets. It's really nice to look through old sketchbooks and be like, aw, that's when my cat was a kitten. That's so cute. If your pets have the tendency to have the zoomies, I might just take pictures of them and then draw from that. That can be easier sometimes, but it is better to just draw from life without pictures being involved. Draw in pen, because then you aren't stuck on erasing one line until it looks perfect. Also, pens are really fun, and I think a finished product with pen looks cooler than it does with pencil, but maybe that's just personal preference. If you make mistakes with pen or with anything, I would use sticky notes to cover them up. Or if you just screw up an entire page, you can glue a bunch of things on top of them. I do that all the time. You will never see what is underneath this, It's hideous, and no one will ever know what it was except for me, because I glued a bunch of cool looking things on top of it. Literally just pick something that you think looks cool and glue it in your sketchbook, and it'll make it big and crunchy and look neat. A tip for when your sketchbook isn't very thick and durable for painting is I'll paint on one side of a page, and then I'm like, oh man, the other side is all wrinkled and weird and gross. So I just have a folder of things that I draw when I don't have my sketchbook with me on random scratch paper, and I have other things that I think are cool, and I just sort of collage those and glue them in on top of the page that's all wrinkly, because it does suck to draw on water warped paper, but it does not suck to glue things on top of water warped paper. Also, glue will warp paper as well, so it's sort of like keep it all on one page. Or if I'm going to glue things into my pages, I'll often also glue things onto the other sides so that you just keep the wrinkliness contained so that you have lots of other spaces for drawing. Experiment with fun kinds of shading, especially fun kinds of shading with inks. Look up some videos on hatching and stuff. That's always super interesting. Other things that you could do for making shading interesting is I like to leave my piece blank but also use markers to shade it in, especially colored markers. I think it makes it look way cooler and like I put a lot more work into it when I really just like drew something. Another thing about spreads is you don't have to have one page per drawing. You don't always have to have 6 drawings per page. I like to mix it up. I even like to sometimes have a spread that's multiple pages. I think mixing it up like that is a really good way to make your sketchbook not feel monotonous. Some things that you can do inside your sketchbook that are not drawing is writing. Most artists have a really big project that they have in the back of their mind that they really want to start, like making an animated TV show or finally making a graphic novel or something like that. A sketchbook is a really good place for you to put all those ideas, all those plot points, all those characters, and you don't have to draw all those ideas out. It's just nice to have all your creative ideas in your creative space. Some rapid fire ideas of things that you could draw in your sketchbook. You can do fan art. I really love to do fan art. It's really fun. You can make OCs, original characters, and then draw them. You can do backgrounds. Those are really important and scary, frankly, but they can be fun if you are out in nature or you just have a really good reference. Next, studies. That comes from drawing from life and also just drawing because you want to get better. I mean, maybe there are some people who do studies for fun, but I have never met them. It also, I mean, this isn't the most important thing, but it makes your sketchbook, it makes you seem like a really prestigious artist who's, studying and learning how to draw hands and stuff. You can draw a familiar thing in a different style, like your OCs in a different style, or your pets in a cartoon style. You can draw album covers. I love to do that. See how fast you can draw something that you're really used to drawing. Maybe you draw trees all the time and you're like, wow, I wonder if I can draw a tree in a minute. And you start a stopwatch and you see if you can do that. Draw from nature if you're a naturey kind of person. I really like drawing fish and I really like drawing bugs. I just think they look really interesting. Pick something from nature that you really like to draw and then do that. Another thing that you can do to fill up your sketchbook when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm really not having it, is to draw for someone else. Find an artist friend or make an artist friend and swap sketchbooks with them and each fill out a page in each other's sketchbooks. And that can be really fun. Your inspiration can come back when you are not drawing for yourself but for someone else. And then you have a cool piece of art in your sketchbook that someone else gave you that you can look at all the time, which is super fun. Doodle something intentionally stupid. I love having stupid looking drawings in my sketchbook. I think they all look really silly and they make me smile when I see them, and they do not take any brain power to do. Do some comics, maybe. I think comics are a really good way to learn how to draw a bunch of different things. Do some perspective, do some anatomy. Maybe draw some memes or some vines, some really iconic internet images that are silly to draw traditionally. I like to design a lot of things that I end up wearing, like pins or clothes that I can paint. If you are really just out of motivation, I would look back on old sketchbooks to see how far you've come, and that will make you feel very good. And then you can redraw one of those horrific looking, terrible old drawings, and you can be like, wow, I'm basically Picasso compared to me from 3 years ago. And that'll make you feel better, and boom, now you have a whole new drawing. And last but not least, just draw what you like to draw. I used to only draw my original characters like all the time, but also it was really fun to just draw my little goofy guys all the time. And I think that's really valuable too. So draw what makes you happiest to draw. You can draw things that look stupid. You can draw things that take 5 seconds. You can make the most elaborate rendered painting you've ever seen in your entire life. Do what makes you happy. I think that's pretty much all you really need to have a good sketchbook. Alright, thank you, tumbleweeds. I hope someone who's not a tumbleweed, I hope someone watches this. Or doesn't actually. This might be super embarrassing in like 5 years. Oh my gosh.